Hello and welcome, everyone. It's Friday, and that means it is time for more Loop Hero. Last time, we took down the Lich after about 2 hours of attempts, and meanwhile, we've been establishing our own camp and gradually building it up and up. And with the Lich killed, nothing has changed. The Lich, however, did mention that there was some other entity that is higher up, I guess. Someone that the Lich works for, is an underling of. And so our search continues as the world continues to reset and turn into a void, with our memories being the only thing that are able to keep any objects permanent. As for the camp, we managed to unlock a rogue class, and we reached chapter 2, which is going to have new elements and complications that we'll have to deal with. So between those two things, we should have a pretty fascinating session today. And I don't know what else to say. I think I'll just get right into it, shall I? If I sound a little off, I do have a bit of a slightly runny nose, so... You know, the nose that you can very clearly see on my model here. Yeah. Fire things up. Alright. Got the gymnasium. That's what allows us to level up. We unlock the cemetery. Passing through a cemetery tile in the actual game will get me a new resource, memory fragments. And then because I got the refuge, I have access to the rogue class. Yeah, my slime grandpa at one point said, "Got your nose," and he, stored it at his house and then misplaced it. We never found it again. This is stupid. Alright. Haven't really unlocked any particularly new tiles yet, but that will occur as not as I progress between chapters, but instead as I continue to upgrade the camp. So, rogue class. Can equip 2 weapons, cannot equip rings, cannot equip helmets or gloves, can equip a chest plate, and notably can equip shoes. And then, let's see. Each time you visit the campfire, for every enemy killed, you will get a item. Latent vampirism, and if you have 2 pieces of equipment that are providing some sort of stat boost, you will get a plus 10% to that stat boost. And then, as this is chapter 2, enemies will have 1 to 2 abilities, so previous enemies that we've seen are going to have new skills and new quirks.
To another place.
some kind of new effect applying. Okay. Oh, there it is. Slimes now have the native ability Corrosive Structure. Each attack lowers target's defense by 0.3 points until the end of the battle. And so that's what we're seeing each time there with the shield melting effect. Nice to see you assessing, Noah. Prevent things from getting too out of hand in that area with the graveyard or battlefield. Hearing noises. I can't tell if they're coming from the game or not. Like, did y'all hear that ding noise? Entangling. 5% chance to immobilize target with web instead of attacking. I think we'll keep the meadow tile. Ringing in the ears. Bloody Pets summons bats after health drops below 50%. Maddening noises. All other creatures without this ability get the ringing in the ears debuff with 10% chance of interrupting their attacks. Notable that the ringing in ears applies to enemies too there. But yeah, a significant downside of Rogue here, as you may have noticed, is Rogue gains no equipment on the field, even if I open a treasure chest. Which means I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 weapon slots, or 11 equipment slots per loop. And that's it. Crit damage chance, critical damage, that's not the same stat. Yes, yes, yes. Goodness, how I love this song. No goblins. Okay, so that ding noise I heard was from the game. Not finished. May resurrect as a shattered skeleton after being killed. 50% chance. Ghost! Nine. 20% chance to cause bleeding that deals 12 damage after every attack for the next 3 seconds. Corpse Eater. Instead of attacking, can devour a random corpse to restore 25% max HP. Icky. Lowers the quantity of items received on the camp tile by 3 while increasing the quality of exchange for trophies. Blissful Ignorance, we know that from the previous one. Full Hand of Oblivion, can use them to heal. 50% chance to steal a resource shard from an enemy while countering. This is already looking pretty grim. Havoc raises a good point there, but I believe kind of the opposite is true because there's... let's see. I think there's some other mechanic that Rogue has that does... I don't think I can survive that fight, so I'm canceling it. I'll have to think about that, honestly. I was going to deny it, but I'm... Maybe it's that trophies, when they're redeemed, it doesn't, like, give you a huge number of items, but it increases the item's quality depending on the number of trophies. Because I'm pretty sure there's some good reason of some kind for Rogue to pick fights with as many people as possible. And there are a few level up skills that relate to that. So I think it might be a gimmick of the quality increases if you overdo it. Against my better judgment, going for another round. A quick healing. Damage to all is doing good work for me.
Diablod3 just rated with 3 viewers.
Hey, Diablo D3. Welcome. For Raiders, I am Moo the Slime. I am a streamer of indie game esoterica. I've had a lifelong fixation on indie games that provide unique experiences to the medium, and so it is my goal to highlight and show off games of that sort. And then we are currently playing Loop Hero. Just reached chapter 2 and it is looking pretty grim. I don't think I can survive this fight, so I think I'm pulling out, even if it does mean I lose some resources. Not enough to get anything new. Let's give that another try. Pulling out. Very good. Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. I find it very interesting that this game has such a fixation on effects that apply both to you and other enemies. There are absolutely combinations of enemies that make things easier because the enemies' passive abilities will be tripping over each other, so to speak. The vampire summoning. The bat summons from the vampire are a prime example of this, where her ringing ears applies not only to you, preventing you occasionally from... Okay, yeah, bringing in more trophies increases the quality. That's the gimmick here. I'm not getting more items than I can hold. So yeah, picking as many fights as possible, I believe, is the move. And yeah, so specific combos of enemies you can absolutely bait into hindering each other. And through that, you can end up picking fights that are more dramatic and probably you shouldn't be able to get away with. And also, because these gimmicks and, like, character effects and modifications only apply for later chapters, in some ways, certain versions of fights can be easier on later chapters than they are on previous ones. Brutal. Stop webbing me. Now here's an important and interesting aspect. Those are not considered corpses for the sake of hungry ghouls. The ghouls cannot do a corpse eat if there's a blood grove nearby as well. And that's kind of what I'm talking about how let's see, supplies. The hero leaves 10% of his findings in the camp when passing through the campfire tile. Sure. Honestly, none of those are particularly ideal, but work with what you get. Evasion and damage to all. Do I have any body armor that has evasion? No. Brigand, 5% chance to destroy hero's item when attacking. Literally breaking equipment. Very mean. No more brigands. Before I put down the spider ghost tile, I need to figure something out. Ghost of a ghost! Lowers attack speed of allies by 15%. Bet you weren't expecting that, were ya? I was wondering when it would finally happen. I've been waiting for that. If you look at the details of how the mechanics work, it makes perfect sense that that's possible. I think I'm dead again. I'm getting the impression that I need to either not use this character or not move to Chapter 2 so quickly. What does upgrading this? +2 potions. Already got a farm. Already got a crypt. Yeah, I'm gonna try Rogue, but with Chapter 1 mode. Because we're kind of getting our asses kicked. Kippers can't wait for Ghost of a Ghost of a Ghost. Well, we'll have to take a look at the statistics about that. Such a thing as possible. If an entity has a soul, then it can form a ghost. Oh my god, did I just fail the quest because the city was destroyed? I did. Didn't know about that one. BTA Lady Havoc, you might like Caves of Quud. There is a mutant-type Chimera where you cannot obtain mental mutations of any kind, so no psychic abilities. However, you can... One of your mutation options is always gain another limb of some kind. Or appendage, rather. And so one of the classic builds for Chimera-type mutants is Limb Ball, where you use multi-limb fighting, or multi-weapon fighting, and then repeatedly get yourself additional arms and hands, then just fill every single hand with daggers, and then stab with all of them at once. Live and drink, Conley. I didn't even get a single weapon. Memory fragment. Rumors, myths, and someone's delusions. It will take weeks to understand it all, and it will take years to decide if you really need this. 10 fragments form a complete book of memories. No damage to all yet. Yeah, one really funny interaction. One really funny interaction as you continue to enter later chapters is the mosquitoes, which only spawn in the swamp area, gain the ability Vampirism. I would like to note that the swamp turns all healing into damage for all parties. I think I got really screwed over by the fact that I never got a second weapon. Please live. Goodness gracious. Oh, by the way, if we switch characters, our talk sprite also changes. There's much more room here now. To express my gratitude, I'll tell you a special healing recipes. 15 lemons, 2 spoonfuls of honey, 3 garlic cloves, and 10 ears of wheat. Throw it all in a pot of water and let it brew for a bit. Best remedy for sore joints. Don't give me that look. You'll be thanking me in 15 years or so. Okay. Warrior, Chapter 2. Let's try that. Right, I forgot. One of the ways in order to prevent spider cocoons from spamming one tile is to put them adjacent to multiple road tiles in order to spread their effects. And then as a reminder, the mountain's effects is 5 max health per adjacent mountain. Rock or mountain, rather. And then rock is the same thing, except 3 instead of 5. Another benefit of the adventure character is because I am crashing items, that gets me a scrap medal every time. Hope y'all are having a lovely day. Cracked skeleton, raw boned, takes 90% less damage from archers. From archers. An interesting conditional. Mimic. Creature's first strike is always a critical hit, 200% damage, and always hits. Skilled armor, defense is increased by 1 after every loop. Because this is our first level up, maximally beneficial to us. A lot of pure damage. And Ghost, a fair bit of damage to all. Huge boost to defense. I played Noita. I have put more than 100 hours into Noita. Incredible game. You know what? I'll add it to the list. As I am wont to say with a huge number of games. Hope I don't regret putting that ring on. upgrade. Shield Master. 10% chance of a 1-second stun on hit. Harpy. Foresight. Gets the predicted buff every 3 seconds. Not every 35. Gets the predicted buff every 3 seconds, which allows it to ignore direct damage once. Higher damage, but less damage technically due to the pure damage not being there, but slightly increased attack speed. Dubious if that was a good trade or not. How many games are on the list? That's a complicated question because me streaming and the concept of the list comes from a previous thing that predates me streaming. And so, if we're talking about the original list, where that is a artifact of me wanting to show friends video games at my place and inviting friends over to say, hey, check out this cool indie game. Yes, I've been doing this basically my entire life. Streaming is just an extension of the idea to online as opposed to in person. But that list, that's more than 200 long. As for the actual games I actively plan to stream and I have a means and readiness to, that one's around 10. Although, the thing is it probably should be longer than 10, because despite me saying list, I wasn't actually writing them down. I was just keeping them in mind. Which was kind of dumb. So there's definitely some games that I've been recommended for, I said, I'll put it on the list, and then promptly forgot about. That's what I was waiting for. I didn't want to get rid of the bandit camp, I wanted to get rid of a goblin camp instead. But yes, how many games are on the list? Depending on your measurement method, either 10 or 200. Getting pretty crowded around here. Damage toll isn't helping me much anymore. finally. Count's lands. The village is thriving under the vampire's protection, and its inhabitants are very generous. 90 HP upon entering gives you a quest with better reward. And as a reminder for why that mechanic works that way, this game conceptualizes vampires as shepherds to a flock of humans. However, with the Void, the vampires are not able to remember things in the way that humans, in the way that everyone can't remember anything, with the world being unraveled. But there's no tricking their hunger, is how one of them put it. So they have 200 years of bloodthirst, and so they've gone... The reason the vampires are attacking you is they've gone completely mad with it. And so, that's the beautiful detail here, is you set up a village near the vampire, it goes on a blood-crazed feeding frenzy, and then it's sated, and then it starts maintaining its flock again. Very cute marriage of the narrative concepts and the game design. One of my favorite things in all of video games is when there is a boss fight of some kind, and the way that the person fights is reflective of their personal creeds and history. The top-down shooter Murasaki is extremely good at this, and there are certain fights in Murasaki where Stage 2 of Murasaki Tsurugi has a boss fight against two cloned twins out of 7 of them, and they're all identical, but each of them have a different skill and fixation. Except, and they have trouble telling between each other sometimes. So you're fighting against the expert tactician, and the expert tactician thinks that his ally, one of the other clones, is the combat expert. As you go through the fight, it's a duo fight, and they're doing like combination attacks, but one of them isn't even fighting. Like, they're just occasionally throwing bullets out. It's a fight against 2 bosses, but one of them is not fighting you practically at all. And that's because he has the wrong guy. It was the gardening expert. And to actually have that reflected in the design of the fight itself is really gutsy in a way that you don't often see. They decide for narrative reasons that this boss will suck at fighting, and I think that is really, really cool. And yeah, they don't have any actual malice toward you. Gardener is actually not the correct answer. Like, that's not literally it, just a example I threw out of a sort of trait that isn't combat. But you get the idea. I thought I'd be able to fight the slime and win, but I could not. This is proving pretty brutal.
To another place.
The storyline of Murasaki Tsurugi. Keisan ruins everything. I know I said it wouldn't do this, but combat speed 2x just for this run since we were doing an earlier difficulty. You always start from 0, Kippers. You can't transition from chapter 1 to chapter 2 like that. So this is simply a case of I don't have the camp upgrades for this. Simple as. I need to farm a little. Grove, Blood Grove, Road Lantern. You're gonna notice me doing something kind of odd with this, but if you remember carefully how our first battle with the Lich went, when the incursion occurred, the Lich created Lich's Palace tiles all around the campfire. And every Lich Palace tile that existed increased the Lich's power. So by filling up as many of those tiles as possible, the Palace tiles won't be able to spawn. And thus we can prevent the Lich from gaining any strength. High evasion is good. One of the cornerstones of early game builds as warrior. Counterattack during evade. That ability is really nice because it means that you can build purely toward evade and you will still be doing counters. Also just makes the question a lot easier of, do I get an item that gives me counter or do I get me one that gets me evade? Because the answer is evade, because it gets you both. No bandits. No goblins either. Tired. Minus 50% evade. If you dodge too much stuff at once, your chance of dodging reduces. This is because evasion is very, very, very good. Strong aftertaste. Bonus damage for every potion used since this trait is taken. Considering that there's no enemies that attack you from the back, yeah, the hero class would be very effective here. We're getting close. Let's hope we can keep it up long enough. I do have one trick up my sleeve, though. Not a chance. Ghost of a ghost. Was it possible? That's right. You didn't devote. Wait. This conversation. I remember it. I killed you before. What the hell is happening? Killed me? I see. So that's how it is. I'm just his afterimage, not the original. You have no idea what you've done. So how many more times do I have to do this world a favor by slicing you in half? I don't think you're able to comprehend this. I'm a part of the self-defense mechanism, one of the multitude of copies sent to other realities at the moment of death. My destruction cannot be undone, but in an endless series of attempts, different outcomes are possible. I defeated you once and I can do it again. Evade! Evade! Each time you kill him, you get the skull, which allows you to take all the items even if you die. So I lost nothing apart from that skull by doing that.
Take this love.
Vitality Habit gifted 1 subscriptions to the community.
Thank you very much. And you're a gifted sub. Let's try a slightly different deck. Bear with me here as I check something real quick. Yeah, okay. I would love to get actual road tiles, please. There we go. Ghost. Ghost of a ghost. Field's unusable right now. Chrono Crystals double the effect of a day passing for all adjacent tiles. So with 3 Chrono Crystals in this affecting a cemetery, instead of creating a skeleton every 3 days, it will create a skeleton every day. Ghost. Level up. Stunning enemies. There we go. Mountain Peak. Conley, are you okay? This is my message to all viewers. Stay safe. Ghost. It's gone significantly better this time, I think. Ghost. I love the ghosts in this game. I think they're kind of cute. Blissful ignorance. Gotta have this upgrade in order to get myself to full health for fighting the Lich. That's my motivation for it. Ghost. Regen and vampirism. Good piece of armor. This is kind of scary. Phew. This is proving to be so brutal. Huge evasion. Ghost. Level up. Countering heals me. New tile type, overgrown field. No one sowed it, and no one will harvest its crops. Yet it is still here somehow. Spawns a scarecrow every 4 days. During combat, adds fields of blades to empty combat spaces. Swarming plant with soul. We're about to enter a meat grinder here. Exhaustion. Shrek. The only thing that matters now is getting there and getting there with health. We're overdosing on evasion. Attack speed. Is this where I die? It is. Ugh. Smelter. Oh my god, finally, okay. Yar har har, what a nice smelting barrel. Throw in some more coal, scrap metal away. Hey lad, you know the secret of sturdy armor? It's the sturdy body beneath it. Har har. I can make everything sturdier, even a simple shirt or some socks. Whatever takes your fancy. You'll travel far under these sails, no storm will stop you. And you know why? 'Cause the storm will be on your side, laddie. We have a new tile. Finally. Storm Temple. Place of worship for the ancient god of lightning. His name is long forgotten. Strikes 2 random targets in its range with lightning every 5 seconds. Lightning cannot be evaded. Effects of multiple temples can stack. So I believe the gimmick with the Storm Temple is since it picks targets randomly, and you are only one person, it gives you significant benefits in fights that involve a lot of enemies. Oh, and look at its formatting. The damage pattern of the Storm Temple is very unusual. Effect pattern, whatever you want to call it. Area of effect, that's the term. You see, this time I actually got a second weapon. Isn't that an incredible concept? Every 5 seconds, lightning will hit 2 random targets, dealing 12 plus 1 plus defense times 1 pure damage. Ghost of a ghost. Yeah, we have 9% counter and 11% counter. And so that should be 20% counter. Those are plus 12%. I might be misunderstanding the ghost of a ghost. Nothing is sacred. Plus 3 HP heal for each kill. So evasion bonus. Okay, I think how it works now is if you have two separate items that are providing the same bonus, you get a 10% chance of 140% damage. And then for every stat that has that, that's another 10% added to it. Something like that? The wording on it is honestly really confusing. If anyone happens to know exactly how that works, I'd love to know. Ghost, by the way. At this point, this is just kind of humiliating. Sorry, y'all. I'm doing pretty terribly. Ugh. Work with me here, game. Article of protection. Ghost. Damn it, I misplaced that. Stuns. Good looking out, Lightning. Good looking out again, Lightning. Spiders do not have souls, by the way. Please don't take that out of context. Oh. I was not paying attention to the numbers. That feels like I was incredibly fast. Of course. I think that's the key thing I've been forgetting. As the game goes on, you are not going to win the race against the loot counter. The enemies will get stronger faster than you will get stronger. So that's the purpose of spiders. It's so they drop cards rapidly. Lots of kills means lots of cards. Lots of cards means faster boss summon. I think that's the key ingredient that I've been missing this entire time. I've been very heavily optimizing for big hitter enemies. I need to beat up weaklings. It's pretty fun to do that after all. I do not like the look of this pile. Yeah, just the build that I've made here is like the polar opposite of what I've been doing before. Chrono Crystal spamming and getting as many enemies as physically possible out on the field. I kept worrying that that's going to get me killed, but I mean, look at how we're doing. Battle through an ocean of weaklings. A few high-level enemies in order to get good loot drops, and a big swarm of weaklings to vampirism off of, and to get rapid card generation. Heal from countering. And yeah, the lightning towers is the reason I went for this type of layout. Oh, forgot that I'm still in evil mode. Did the auto-moderation trip on someone? Okay. want you dead. 741 Phantom Shield is nuts. That's gonna save my life. How is it possible? Shut up. We have a score to settle. Die. I could change nothing, but your victory won't change anything either. Eternity will grind you into dust, and I'm just a small gear in that process now. If killing you makes me stronger, I won't need an eternity. Now be gone. One full revive. Stay. The battle continues. Ugh. Storm Temple's really doing work, huh? Ghost. Ghost. There's only one place that treasury can even fit anymore. There's no more space for treasuries. Just straight up. Now it's time to do some deck cycling. You'll notice that as we gain cards, previous ones are melted, and we get memory fragments out of it. Book of Memories, only real facts and many truths, but only about one thing, and one time. We've maxed out on metal, rock, and wood at this point. Crypt. Oh, you're interested too, no? Not everybody appreciates. Not everybody understands. People can serve you not just with their voices, but with their bones, swords, bows. And they are not evil if you're not afraid. You're right. I only need to raise my hand and... Wait, I've never done anything like this before. If I remember correctly, the craft teaches itself, often through books or words, but it taught you through walls and stones. Unusual. Okay. Now that we understand a little bit on how to, like, actually do stuff, how to play this game. New character, Necromancer. Summons skeletons that fight for their master. May boost their numbers, strength, and quality with necromantic equipment and skills. Has one book, as opposed to weapon, 2 rings, and a necklace. This particular deck worked well for us, so... Skeleton level 0.27. skeleton level plus 0.91. Plus 1 max skeleton. I would like some actual encounter tiles, please. Finally. Formed an entire mountain before we got a single grove. Or, like, anything whatsoever. Skeleton warrior. I really hope to reach the next boss, so just so y'all can see it, even if I don't win. Residual heat. Each allied skeleton heals the hero for 3x loop HP when it dies. Ambitions of the Dead. When an allied skeleton kills an enemy, it fully heals itself and gets 10% damage and HP buff for the rest of the battle. Still don't have a growth. Okay, yeah, yes, I do have a growth. There it is. Ugh. Skeleton down. No. Get those spiders spawning. Skeleton guard. First target. I believe what that means is that the skeleton guard always pulls aggro. So if the skeleton guard exists, everything will attack it exclusively. At the very least, that's what I assume first target would mean. Impenetrable. Takes 60% less damage when hit unless it's attacking. High quality grimoire. I believe summon quality 15% means that's a 50% chance that a friendly skeleton will be will instead spawn as one of the higher tier ones. I think that's correct. I always loved minion builds in games, so not too much of a surprise to hear that this is my favorite character class. Glad to have finally unlocked him. Omicron's technique grants the hero 1 resurrection with full healing. I really, really like that upgrade because just straight up it removes all of the risk inherent to continuing. Use Omicron's technique, maybe go 1 or 2 more tiles if you're really close to reaching the camp, but otherwise just resurrect and then bail. The risk reward becomes a lot more in your favor if you have 1 resurrect available. Your skeletons have ghosts. Does not list them as having a soul, so no. Oh, lucky spawn of the barrier skeleton. That saved me a lot of health. I'm gonna try aiming for maximum quality. So I just noticed a problem. That barrier skeleton, it attracts all damage. If lightning strikes when the barrier skeleton is out, it hits them. High quality grimoire. Summon quality 104. We're not surviving another of that. That said, once again, I do have the free resurrect. Sorry, Storm Temple, but we just might be able to see the spot. Ghost. Just maybe. Bonus healing. For roadside tiles. Higher magic shield and 20% faster summoning speed. Incursion. Who awaits us this time? I hope we find out. Nice, that delayed the flesh golem. Starving, hungry groves are really bad for Necromancer, I'm now finding. Because they always direct attack me. Looks like we're gonna enter this with good health. Ghost. Let's do this. Could you please stop? So it's you who's responsible for all this mess. Stop doing what? Stop doing all this. Resisting, fighting for the old world. He will erase everything anyway. I'm sorry, but that's how it must go. So a mysterious him again. I expect you're not going to explain who you are talking about, are you? Why wouldn't I? I'm talking about God. He created myriads of stars, galaxies, and... oh, what am I saying? He created everything. And now he is destroying his creation. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. And trust me, I've heard a lot of absurdities. Why would God want to destroy the world? That's what I would call a silly question. Do you think we have the right to discuss God's motives? He's God, for God's sake. If he has decided, it has to be done. It means there is a reason and a meaning to it. Instead of all your rage and anger, you ought to thank him for the life you've had, and spend the time that's left to bid the universe goodbye. No. Wait, that's not right. If all that is true, then why am I still able to resist? Why am I able to restore this world piece by piece? It's very slow, but I'm still able to do it. Does that mean your God is having second thoughts? Is he a god at all if I can go against his will? These are just empty words. You're simply trying to find a reason to say your unimportant no. I feel sorry for you in this world, but your efforts are in vain. You can't stop the harvesting scythe of God with a single blade of grass. I shall end you personally. By word or by force if need be. Well, maybe a blade of grass won't stop a scythe, but I can get into your shoe and hurt like... You know what? Metaphors really aren't my thing. Let's see how well your God can protect you. Will of the Heavens summons an angel instead of an attack that disappears after dealing 2 attacks. Iconostasis creates 5 stained glass windows instead of every second attack. Has a 20% chance to be protected by one of the windows. Invincible cannot be targeted. Do we have more attack speed? We do not. How about skeleton count? That would also work. We don't have that either. I live again! God. I really don't have additional skeleton, huh? Not a single item that does that? Brutal. Oh, lucky evade. I think we might get her. Please, it's so close. It hurts so much. Each time like the first. I still can't get used to it. Yeah, dying isn't very nice, and that's what the whole world feels right now. Not a great feeling, as you noticed. Now you... Wait, what do you mean each time? This is not the first time. My faith in the Almighty brings me back to life again and again for the sake of my great mission. To spread his word and preach humility, obedience and acceptance of the salvation he offers. And each time I fail, no peaceful conversation, only the lifeless bodies of the heretics. Or my own lifeless body. Then why can't you see the desire to survive as a natural part of this world? I don't know how or when it happened, but you seem to have misunderstood the motives of the Almighty. Misunderstood? Me? That's impossible. I have faith. I am the faith. I don't need to know or prove anything. And you? What are you even trying to achieve? Nothing will ever be like it was anymore. Not even close. I don't know. Maybe it will. I can still try. You're just a fool. That's what you are. We'll meet again. Just let me rest for a while. Looks like she's gone. I can hardly believe her corpse could ever come back to life, but even if it will, I should still give her a proper burial. resource assortment. Retreat. Welcome back. Is that a piece of glass sticking out of your shoulder? What? Oh, I didn't even notice it. Not that my pain tolerance is too high. I'm a bit shocked, to tell the truth. I met a crazy zealot. Stained glass windows, halos, angel silhouettes all around. A holy jamboree, you could say. Let me guess. We're all sinners, and now we're doomed to face the holy wrath in the end of times. And only in death shall we find salvation. More like the god has decided to erase his creation. It has to be done. Please remain patient. Well, that makes some sense if you think about it. Who else would have the power to do such a thing? I disagree. I don't know much about being a god, but I think he'd be able to do it in an instant. Putting it simply, we'd all be dead already. We wouldn't even exist now. Even if the priestess was right, it's not a reason to give up. Howling from outer space. What was that? Did you hear that? Yeah. And it felt horrible. Like someone's coming to get me. Supply depot. Good news, we've come up with a list of things we need. I can't say they're all absolutely necessary, but they would make our lives a bit better. We can't keep eating dirt, while sitting on dirt, and then go to sleep on the same, dirt. I'm exaggerating, of course, I just want you to get the idea. If you stumble upon a good piece of furniture or tool or anything else to use, remember where you found it and accompany a horse carriage there. We'll make sure we'll make sure your findings go to the people who need it the most. Meat stew. A bowl of hot stew is the best way to stay warm on a cold winter night. Still good at any other time, of course. Spiced with some dried herbs. Receive additional 5 HP while passing through village. The distinctive taste of garlic will make any food tastier. Nobody knows why vampires don't like garlic. Maybe it's a price they must pay for their extraordinary powers? +2 hero damage against all vampires. And so we can equip these in the food slot in order to gain those passives. And then we have a big supply of sockets that we can hold items in. We can either find items or craft them, as you're seeing here. Let's see here. I'll save the rest of my food, that way we'll be able to buy the intel center as soon as we get the metal for it. Wait, Mud Hut. This is for storage of additional of those trinkets, I think. We're getting there. Chapter 3. Enemies have 2 to 3 abilities. And ruins. The existence of the civilization ended long... This existence of this civilization ended long before the Lich's Curse, but its remains can still be of use to you. Gives a random basic resource shard when passing through it. Spawns a scorched worm every 2 days. So the ruins are essentially an omni resource gain. Just walking through will get you a shard of any kind. So especially useful for explicitly grinding. No Storm Temple. That should be a pretty good build for Necromancer for next run. In any case, though, wow, this has been a long stream. But we got there. That's going to do it for today, friends. Thanks to anyone who has stuck by for the full duration of this here. And let's see who we can raid to, shall we? And yeah, it looks like a celestial huntsman of some kind. Let's see. We got Hexy Maniac, we got Last Seahorse.
Take this love.
Vitality Havoc gifted 1 subscriptions to the community.
Congrats on your sub, Solanum. Thank you, Lady Havoc, once again. Ompuko is playing Voices of the Void. That game is on the list. Currently, Voices of the Void is going through significant revamps. Like a huge patch released kind of recently that reworked a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm waiting a bit before I get back into it. But Ompuko's trying to raise funds and tell that silly sheep that the slime sent you to another place, my friends.